Welcome everybody to the Yes to Life show. We're here with another interview again. It's been a while since our last interview because we are so busy with the traveling. And now that we have a little bit more of a fixed schedule, we will try to get back into the regular interviews. And today is a very special day because today we reached 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So
Awesome.
it's a good milestone. And today we have Kelvin Harding here. So thank you so much for joining. He's an expert when it comes to vegan fitness, and he shows that you can gain muscle as a vegan very easily. So without further ado, I will let you start talking, and you can give me a little bit on out of the viewers, a little bit of your background.
Okay, absolutely. Hey, Kelvin, I go underneath KHP Fitness. It's just a brand basically that pronounces my name. It's Kelvin Harding's Physical Fitness, so it's KHP Fitness for short. I've been vegan for about 3 years. As of March, about 3 years now. And it was the best decision I ever made, man, when it comes to digestive health and overall, cutting back the suffering of, all the agriculture from the meat and dairy industry and everything of that nature.
What made you decide to become vegan?
At first, it started as digestive issues. I've always struggled with it, even when I was younger. But it got progressively worse because, you hear all the things where they say you have to eat this amount of meats and so to gain muscle and protein. So with that came like constant irritation, constipation, things of that nature. And then after I was like this close to seeing like a gastrous doctor to evaluate, and I know that stuff gets expensive. So before that, I ran into, you might have heard him, on YouTube, Vegan Gains. I came across him and John Venus, and about 6 months prior to that. But I was still in that hypnotized mode that so many people get into, where it's like, oh, well, all vegans are skinny, all this and that, and this, you can't gain muscles vegan, all the stuff that I heard, and I thought that was the case too, that you just couldn't sustain and you would slowly lose your gains over time, all of the rhetoric that they spin to you. But after that, I would say just a month of the regular stuff, like increasing like rice and greens and, tomatoes and everything of that nature. Just getting more fiber in my diet, hydrating more. It turned my entire digestive system around in, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks, if not sooner than that. It was crazy.
Oh, that's awesome. It's awesome, man. So for sure, there's no way going back after something like this as well.
No way, man. No going back at all.
Awesome. Yeah, and the good thing is nowadays there's so many, like, same for me when I became a vegan. My biggest fear was losing all of the muscle pretty much. And but nowadays there's so many role models. There's you, there's Corin Sutton, there's Dave. There's so many people out there right now who show that you can gain muscle as a vegan.
Absolutely.
So what are some of you've been vegan for 3 years now. And everybody, when you start making, you make a little bit of mistakes in the beginning. So what are some of the mistakes that maybe you did that you see people do when they become vegan, and how can you prevent them?
I think when it came down to it, because I was so structured, I had it a little bit easier. But I would say some of the mistakes I made was probably not getting as many calories, is because you get, you from the fiber and stuff, when you're transitioning over, you're not used to like the fiber content and how well it sustains you over to your next meal. So it would be 3 to 4 hours later and I wasn't even hungry. So I was just like, well, I was basically just freeballing it for a while. But then I noticed that, the energy wasn't there. So I really had to start diving into it and getting more calories, getting more. I leaned away from the fat because at first I was doing the 80-10-10 just to start it out to see how it would feel and stuff. But I started to I've always been really good at making meal plans and macro counting. So that actually, so I was like, let me implement this but in a vegan version. So I was, I always noticed that optimum from what I seen for muscle development was like 20% or above, like 20 to 25% coming from fats, 25 to 30% coming from proteins, and 50% coming from, or 45% coming from carbs. That was like right on the money. So with that, it was an easy transition. Then I just had to find substitutes for everything that I ate. Like I found a dairy, like a vegan yogurt from the dairy. I found Beyond Meat, which I love. I found, the vegan organic protein, Garden of Life, like these things, all of that. Once I found those, it was easy. It was the substitution was easy, but those were some of the mistakes. I was just leaning too low on the calories, and I think that's where a lot of people start making the mistake.
So you said also in your experience for a client, it's the same, like pretty much the same ratio with the 25, 25, 50, or somewhere?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. 25, 25, 50. That's usually, yeah, as long as you're in that ratio of like even 20% of your daily calories coming from fats will be enough for good hormonal growth. And we need those fats to sustain the muscle and stuff as well. Like, people don't realize how important that is.
Yeah, definitely. And in terms of protein, there's like what's your take on protein? Because a lot of people say that like that's 2 grams per pound of body weight, or like no, I think 1 gram per pound body weight, right? Because I'm not always thinking in kilograms in Europe. That's a little bit outdated, because you see a lot of vegan bodybuilders eating like 120, 140 grams of protein.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's your take on the optimal protein intake?
Yeah, I think that came from, because I think they kind of rounded up, because even like a lot of studies that I've seen, they say anywhere from like 0.75 to maximum 9 would be like optimum. So I don't know where the gram, because I've looked up so much, I don't know where the gram came from. I don't know where the gram came from at all. So I usually get I'm about 212 pounds. And I usually get about 150 to maybe 162 a day, and I'm doing just fine. Like, I've lost no gains on that. So
that's interesting, because right now I'm really trying to, because I'm really seeing a lot of people being more into in the 120, 150 grams of protein area, even though they're massive. So I think that's also a big shift that's happening right now in the fitness community as well.
Absolutely, because the gram, I've heard some so ridiculous, like 1.5 to 2 grams. I'm just like, that's way too much. Your body goes into gluconeogenesis, and it'll just convert. It'll just become an expensive carb at that point in time. So I don't understand why people go so high over.
Then in terms of like tips for beginners, because I think there's a lot of people out there that are trying to get into the fitness space. I mean, trying to get more fit, trying to build muscle size on a vegan diet. What are some of the tips that you would give for a beginner, in particular when it comes to training, to nutrition?
Well, yeah, I would definitely tell them, carbs are definitely not the enemy, as a lot of people start to think. And I would tell them, if they're just beginning, start slow with it. Start like, don't go on any crazy water fast. We've all seen how that's been working. Like, don't do anything crazy like that. Make sure like they're definitely getting plenty of nutrients in. Like, they want to get their green leafy greens. They want to get their brown rices, their quinoa. They want to definitely, if they can, if they're more like on like serious about their lifting, and so I would recommend some kind of a protein source, because it's good to drink your calories. When it comes to like a protein source, you can get a lot more calories in. So a lot of people have an ip when it comes to getting in the calories in the beginning. So if they could start out with maybe a protein shake, and then blend in their fruits and vegetables and things of that nature in there, chia seeds, because they're best grounded up and stuff, flaxseed, like, get a lot of calories in, especially in the day. Like people used to do carb backloading, but some studies show that like uploading is a lot better. Like, starting your day out with a lot of calories is a good way to go. That way you're sensationalized throughout the day. And that's the best way. I've always done it too. I get about anywhere from 800 to 900 calories in a protein shake just to start the day. And then from there, I'll get the rest of my calories in.
Okay. Does it depend on when you train? If you train in the morning or if you train in the evening? Does it make
it really doesn't. It doesn't matter. I do notice that some people train, like, they start their day better in the morning, because it'll set a positive tone. Like, even me, like, I'll wake up usually at 6 a.m. and start my day with like a walk, do some abs. And so usually the opposite of my training days. And that works real good, because it sets a good tone for the day. But if you can work out in the evening, like if you work in the daytime and evening is the only time available, as long as you got that energy, go ahead and go for it too. It doesn't really matter. As long as you get it in within that 24-hour time frame, you're good to go.
And in terms of, it would be interesting if you also do intermittent fasting, because everybody that we interviewed so far on the show was doing intermittent fasting for some reason, even though they were not connected with each other. So Are you
Yeah.
doing intermittent fasting? Have you tried it for a while?
You know what? Yeah, I'm a component of intermittent fasting. But intermittent only. Like I said, I never seen the issue. I never seen the point. Even before I seen all the studies on it, I never seen the issue. Sorry, the point with a lot of like water fasting and so. It just seems to create a lot of gut problems from what you're saying. When a lot of people like quitting the vegan diet, all of their gut problems usually start from these water fasts they do, or they had like pre-existing issues before that. But if you're intermittent fasting, like what I'll do is I'll stop eating. I usually go to bed at 10. I'll stop eating usually at about 8 o'clock. So that's right there. That's 2 hours, and I sleep. And then I usually won't eat for about 2 hours when I wake up. So that's typically about 12 to 14 hours that I allow myself, because the body doesn't need all of that extra energy around. You're just going to store it as insulin, and then that'll turn to fat over time. So intermittent fasting, yeah, it's a good way to go, especially like you said, going on walks on, like, even when it comes to clients of mine, I tell them when they're first beginning, especially if they're heavier set, wake up in the morning after you stop eating at a certain time of night. Wake up in the morning. If you got the time, go for a walk, hydrate yourself, get some water with lemon, something of that nature, hydrate yourself and start walking, because it's a lot easier to start targeting the fat stores at that point in time than it is when you've already had something in your stomach.
And like you said, it also really sets a good tone for the day.
Yep,
also, yeah, you also mentioned the sleep. Is there any regimen that you follow in order to get the most out of your sleep? Because it's such an important thing as well.
Yeah, I try. You know what? I try my best to just structure out my day the best. Try to, because one thing a lot of people like to do, and I was a big component of it too, is ending my day with like YouTube or something on there. I learned to get away from that, because it wires your brain for like almost a night, like 30 minutes to an hour after, and you want to like give your brain time to shut down. And I think that's why a lot of people have such a problem sleeping too. I also recommend like chamomile tea. Chamomile tea is like phenomenal. It puts me to sleep like a rock. But yep, you definitely want to have like a bedtime regimen. And it sounds crazy, because when we're younger, we get bedtime regimens too. And you always wonder why your parents did that, but it helped you sleep better. If they're like, all right, turn all of that off and it's time to go to bed. So I'll end my day, and my regimen is usually I'll eat my last meal at 8. After that, I'll I'll try to listen to some audio inspirational quotes and speeches, because that really gets me hyped for the day. I'll do yoga for about 15 minutes, meditate for about 10 minutes, brush my teeth, be grateful for the day, and jump into the bed, man. That's usually about 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then I wake up at about 5:30 or 6 the next day and try to start my day all over.
That's a good plan as well. Yeah, one thing I bought also that I can recommend you, I don't know if you have them, the blue light blocking glasses. They are awesome.
Which ones?
Blue light blocking glasses.
Oh, yeah.
You get them for like $5, I think, on Amazon.
Oh, man, I have to check those out.
They do make a big difference, because I try also 2 hours before sleep to cut on all of electronics, but it doesn't always work out that way. So at least when I'm still working at that time, then I try to put on the glasses, and then I notice a big improvement.
Okay. Have you ever tried the chamomile tea? Because that works phenomenal too.
Chamomile tea. I think now that I'm back in Germany, I will try. Because in Asia, it was not that easy to get it, but I will try to over here.
Yeah, chamomile tea is phenomenal. It's at least in the States, it's like $2.48. I'm not sure exactly what it would be over there, but it's worth it. You get about 15 in a pack. One with about 4 ounces to 6 ounces of water will do you just right. It's warm, it goes down, and it'll knock you out, man.
Nice. Yep. I think we probably even have some left, so I'm gonna try that. Sure. Any other things that because I don't know, like Americans are not that big on sauna, right? Like here in Europe, everybody's very big on sauna after the gym. Are there any other recovery methods that you do? Or?
You know what? Some of the big recovery methods that I've always done is I like the cold showers. Those usually work well for me. But just rolling, like on a foam roller, or if I'm really tight in an area, like a tennis ball or a lacrosse ball, anything of that nature definitely helps out too. A lot of stretching, because we don't stretch enough. A lot of people don't hydrate enough, and then that's when a lot of the lactic acid and stuff build up too. I'll tell you one time, a buddy of mine went to a massage parlor, and he got a deep tissue massage, but he didn't hydrate the day before, and he was so sore out there. And I was like, yeah, you got to hydrate because the body needs, so that's the fluid, the oil to the muscle. You know what I'm saying? The fluid, it gets there, and it keeps you good and hydrated, so you don't get so tense. And even when I had a massage therapist, she told me, like, before we do this, like, you want to make sure you hydrate for the entire day because you're going to be super sore if you don't. So definitely stretching, rolling, yoga. Like, yoga is so holistic. It's out of there. And then cold showers, those usually help me out the best.
Sure, yeah. Also after training, or?
Yes, the cold showers after training definitely help me out the best. Absolutely.
And then when it comes to training, how much would you say that, like, because the mindset is also a big part. For example, like, you really have to stick also to your regimen. Do you work with your clients also on the mindset, or is it also mostly focused on nutrition, on the training?
Oh, definitely mindset, because if you don't, if the mind isn't there, it's definitely not going to work. So I try my best to, like, get them into a mindset, a positive mind state of thinking. Like, don't think of even when it comes to their day, and I'm going to make a mental moment about that too. Even when it comes to their day, I don't look at your day as a busy day, because when you say busy, you dread it. You're like, oh, it's so busy today. Look at it as a productive day to get you where you're going. So even when it comes to the workouts and stuff, like, this is the catalyst to get you into a better version of yourself. So you want to definitely look at it as productivity versus a busy day. So I try to get their mind state on that. I try to let them know that you're, like, everybody thinks you're going to go straight up like this when you're, like, making improvements, but it steadily goes like this. And then you go up as you go, as you get better and better, you go up and you get better. But even the best have cheat days. Even the best fall off and are not motivated all the time. Gold medalists, they fall off and they come back, you know? So you definitely have to, I tell them, like you either win or you learn, you know? So when you're winning, that's good. But, like, when you fall, that's when you learn. And it's never going to be a straight road to that. It's always going to be some obstacles that come on. So it's definitely a mind state thing for sure.
Yeah, definitely, because everybody's going to have some off days. They just happen inevitably.
Absolutely.
And then I also saw, because that's the way I reach out to you as well. You're very active on Facebook, right? On social media.
I do, yeah, I am.
So when did you start with that?
You know what? And it's crazy because I've had, like, a Facebook for, like, forever, but I actually started getting more comfortable behind the camera. And I was like, man, it's just, like, at the end of the day, like, I think a lot of people get so uncomfortable with the camera because they feel like millions of people are watching them then and there. And it's like, no, like, a lot of the time it's pre-recorded. If you make mistakes, you can fix them, things of this nature. But even when I try to, I'll do, like, just to break that fear, I would do, like, Instagram lives or Facebook lives, because, you know, that would give you, it gives you more confidence in, you know, being, like, underneath the pressure situation. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. So I just like to, you know, I like to help people and share things as I go, and try to make pretty good content as I go with it too.
So you try to put out something daily, or?
Yeah, I try to put out. I do try to put out something daily. If it's not daily, it's every other day for sure. But if I try to keep myself. I'll never go a week without, you know, posting something or something inspirational. Because if at the end of the day, if I touch 2 people out of the post I made, I've done some good things. If somebody come in my instant messenger and say, man, you don't even know how much you helped me. I just had that last week when they were like, you don't even know how much you helped me with, like, the diet and stuff. And I was just getting so discouraged. But you tell me, like, you come back from your ACL tear and all of this, and it puts you in a bad place. And, like, a lot of people see us on YouTube and they see us on Facebook and stuff and see the end product, but they never see, like, the struggles that we went through. And I try to remind them that I'm just a normal person, just like you, man. Like, I wasn't born into money or anything of that nature. I'm just somebody who got up, who got tired of going through the rat race and got motivated and started trying to motivate others. That's all it is.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's always a couple of names that always pop up when you're in the Facebook group. So it's usually you, and then Dave Morero. You probably know him as well.
Yeah, yeah.
He's very consistent as well. But that's awesome, man. Because the Facebook groups, there's so many people coming every day. There's I think some of them have like 200,000 members or something. So it's really great that there's always some people always posting, always helping people out like you and Dave doing. That's awesome.
Absolutely, man.
Have you ever thought about doing vlogs or something?
You know what? Maybe yeah, I definitely thought about it. I probably just need to structure it and just get the time. Like I structure the rest of my day and just get some time and start making out some vlogs. I've never done a full day of eating or anything of that nature. Even and I need to probably get more back on the YouTube scene because I was there for a little bit. But you know, situations came when I got hurt. I kind of fell off of that for a while, but I got back on Facebook and Instagram. But it's been a while since I've been on YouTube, so doing the vlogs, I'll probably need to just touch up on those and try it out.
I know keeping it simple is the most important thing in the beginning. You
Yeah,
want to overload everything and then you have no time for anything else.
that's very true. Very true.
And but you mentioned you had an injury. ACL, torn ACL, you said something?
Yeah, man. Had a definitely ACL tear. Luckily, it's crazy how it happened. I went to it was a trampoline place called Sky Zone in America. Oh man, it was when I bounced off because I'm good at front flips, back flips. Probably saying that on some of my content too. But when I went off the wall one, they're so much stricter. And so it overshot me from the one I was supposed to land on. I landed on the next one, but then my knee hyperextended, and boom, I was out of commission. I was laying there, and the lady was like, "Are you all right?" And I was breathing hard and like not looking at her and like focusing off. And she was like, "You all right?" And then what I did is I took it because it was out of place. I popped it back in place myself and just laid there. But once I did that, the pain went from like a 9.5 to like a 6. So that definitely helped out. And she was like, "Oh my God." And when the EMTs got there, they was like, "You put it back by yourself?" I was like, "Yeah." They was like, "Phew, jeez, you're strong." But yeah, it debilitated me for a while. It was, it happened back in 2017. I got, that was in June. I got the surgery in August. And then the healing process after that. And I was just really down on myself at that point in time. But then what happened after that, a buddy of mine from New Orleans, she was in Orlando, and she was like, "Hey, you want to train me?" And I was like, I can't really move. I'm kind of out of it. And she was like, "Okay." But then like something in me was like, you've been telling her you're going to train with her forever, man. Just get up, put the brace on, and get your butt out there. And in the midst of that, I made a full HIIT training video and an actual resistance training video too in the midst of it. So she actually helped me get back and get out of my my pity mode that I was in.
When was that?
That happened back in June 4th. Today is is an anniversary. Yeah, June 4th of 2017 is when I heard it. Actually, my fiance's birthday too. And she was like, she felt so bad because she was like, "You never come to these places, and you come here for me, and you got hurt." And I was like, "It's not your fault, man. It was just me being silly and overshooting and such." But yeah, 2017 June 4th is when I heard it, and in August 16th is when I got the surgery for it. And then after that,
for how long were you out of the training in total?
For after the surgery, because it was funny because even before the surgery, being as motivated as I am, I was able, even though my knee was wobbly, I went to the pool and I did some basically aerobics in the pool because there's no pressure. So I was able to do squats and such, and I actually taught myself back how to lunge and everything in the midst of it. Thank God for my good glutes, man. So I was able to go ahead and teach myself how to get myself back and lunging and stuff. So when I got the surgery, I actually healed a lot faster. And even my doctor said it too. I healed a lot faster if I would have just let it just sit there and atrophy. So that definitely helped out too. But even then, I gained about, I was 207 when I got hurt. I gained about 23 pounds. Yeah, I shot up to 230 in less than 6 months because I was just so down and and just eating. It was all vegan, but it was a bunch of vegan junk and just not watching. I was completely out of my regimen. So these things do happen, man. You fall out of your regimen and you get back. But I shot back down and got back down to 208, just off of setting the same mind state that I had before that, that this isn't forever. There's going to be pitfalls. I have to just get up, and there's a lot of people that look to me for advice. I can't just let them down, you know?
Yeah, that's a good mindset. That's pretty much the only mindset you can get out of this.
Yes, sir.
So you went from being 30 pounds, like almost 30 pounds, like quote unquote overweight. How long did it take you for the to get back into track after that?
To get back on track, to get it back down to that to about 209, 207, it took me about a good, I would say, 4 months. It took me about 4 months of like really like watching what I eat, intermittent fasting, staying on my regimen. Even though I couldn't work my leg as consistently, I was still able to do a bunch. I was still able to do like bench press. I was still able to do. My upper body didn't fall off, So so I was like, and then I was slowly getting my I did rehab every day. I rehabbed every day on my leg, and that's one thing I stay consistent on. I mean, every single day I did my leg extensions, and with my resistance bands, I did everything. And I did about 30 minutes a day every day just to get my leg back strong, flexing it, even when I wasn't using it, trying to flex it and make sure that I'm getting that strength back. And it came back, man, about 4 months.
Oh, that's awesome. So now you're back also now can you train squats again?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm back to training squats again. I'm back to deadlifting, everything. Yeah, I currently, I don't know how much my max is. I was doing 405 before I got hurt, but I'm back up to about 350 pounds.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
So that brings me, because I mean, those kind of accidents you cannot prevent, but you can certainly prevent certain injuries in the gym. So what are some of the things that you would teach people when you come to the gym? Because I mean, the shoulder is a common shoulder, elbow, wrist. So what are some of the things that you recommend, for example, like your clients in order to prevent common injuries?
I tell them, you know what? I try to tell them how important it is. And I mentioned it earlier with the glutes, and so it's so important to have that base, because those are like the best movers when it comes to legs. When it comes to good form, you can't beat good form. I would tell them to set the ego aside, master the weight. Like, if you can't do 20 reps with a weight, then there's no reason to go up after that. You need to master that weight and then go up. That way the body ultimately gets more metabolically used to it and adapts better. So you want to go ahead and do that. And when it comes to like shoulder work, just one that I see all the time that people do, they'll do shoulder presses and they'll be way out here with it. When you should be actually inside, because it doesn't take your shoulder out of this rotation joint. When you're here, over time, it starts to mess with the socket joint. And that's why you see so many people with injuries. I'll tell the client when I first meet them, I'll tell them, I need you to raise your hands for me. And if I see them do this, I know there's probably a shoulder injury in there somewhere. If they can't do this and they can't raise them back and forth, there's probably a shoulder injury. So I just try to rehabilitate that and help them rehabilitate that, show them exercises that they can do. Definitely want to warm up before you do anything. Never go into the gym cold, because that's always an issue if you don't warm up your joints. And it doesn't have to be a whole bunch of stretching. It doesn't have to be a whole bunch. You want to stretch after. You definitely want to just warm up. Get on the treadmill for a little bit, about 10 minutes to warm up your joints, or an elliptical, or a stationary bike. You want to do like external rotation when it comes to like warming up the shoulder socket. Warm up your knees, because these are the ones that they take the most damage. The knees and the shoulders take the most damage. So I definitely tell people to warm up. And I always have a 5-minute routine, even when I'm training clients. 5-minute routine, no matter what. 5-minute cool down after the workout.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a very good point, especially when you're from a colder climate. Then you
definitely
warming up. Because you're in Texas. You're in Texas, right? Or were you?
No, currently I'm in Florida.
Florida. Okay.
Yeah, I stayed in Texas. I was raised in Texas, but I moved to Florida. We've been all over the place, but Florida is where I'm at currently, in Melbourne, Florida.
Thank you so much for your time, Kelvin. Really appreciate it. If people want to get in touch with you, if they want to learn more from you, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, you can definitely get in touch with me on any social medias. I'm on Snapchat at KHB Fitness 24/7, Instagram KHB Fitness and Training, Kelvin Harding on Facebook, and I do have a business page on there, KHB Fitness. And we go ahead and get in the website probably soon too. But any of those social medias, you can definitely get in touch with me on.
Awesome. And regular vlogs coming soon.
Yeah, got to get those vlogs in there, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, I will link all of those in the video afterwards.
Awesome. I appreciate that. And one last thing I wanted to tell them, you don't have to sacrifice life to get gains, man. Trust me, you can sustain just fine off a vegan diet. You just need to go ahead and, just like any other diet, dive into it, do it correctly, stay consistent, and you'll get your gains.
Awesome. Thank you so much.